Hey guys, so for today's video I'm going to be swatching and reviewing some new products by Makeup Geek, and they are the foiled lip glosses. I have 10 of them, and then the foiled pigments, which I have 12 of. And I just got these yesterday, so I'm super excited to do this video. Huge thank you to Makeup Geek for sending me the new stuff. I am obsessed. They're coming out with the coolest things lately. Like, they're just on it. I'm excited. Alright, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the products. First, going to do the lip swatches on my lips, give you a review of them, what I think, and then I'm going to move on to the foiled pigments, swatch them on my arm, let you know what I think. If you want to know more about these, look for Marlena's video on them. She just uploaded it recently. She goes into a lot more detail than I'm going to. So just to give you guys a little bit of information before I start on the swatches, the lip glosses, like I said, there are 10 of them. They're being sold for $15 each, and they are 8.5 grams of product. Obviously, they're all glossy, and they have like a metallic finish to them, which is beautiful. I have only tried one on my lips so far, but I swatched all of these on my hand yesterday, and I cannot wait to see what these look like on. So then moving on to the foiled pigments. These are 3.5 grams of product, and they are $12. I have to be honest, when I got these I was a little bit nervous because I also got the sparklers when they were new, like a year and a half ago or something like that, and the packaging was just so terrible that I couldn't use them, and I was so sad because they looked like such a cool product, but every time I opened it they would just go everywhere, and they ended up just sitting in my desk drawer because I was too afraid to open them. But the packaging on these is way better. I don't want to tip it because it's gonna fall out. But this is not the same kind of sifter at all. It just has one kind of medium-sized hole, and the lid has like that hole punch right there so that it goes into that hole when you close it, so it's not gonna get really messy on you if it like falls over or falls off your desk or anything like that. So these are basically just like an ultra pigmented metallic shiny pigment. Alright guys, so let's move into the swatches and here's some thoughts. Alright guys, so I'm all done doing the swatches. I have a few favorites that I put off to the side so I could show you. First one being Vinyl, which is that shimmery copper silver. I don't even know exactly what to call it, but it is such a cool, unique color. This is definitely my favorite of the bunch. Next favorite is Groupie, which is that kind of bluish purple. It is so beautiful. And then my third favorite is Mixtape, which was that dark brownish, almost kind of purplish one. Okay, so thoughts. First of all, I was like 90% sure that I wasn't gonna like these because I don't really like lip gloss. You guys know that. I'm trying to like it and I'm kind of getting better at it, but I realized that the only lip glosses that I don't like are the ones that feel really sticky on your lips and tacky. Like if you were to rub your lips together like this and then pull them apart, if they were to like stick to each other, oh, Just thinking about that gives me the shivers. Luckily, these are not sticky or tacky. They're just they're kind of more like a lip cream finish, I think. Like when I rub my lips together, they don't stick at all. They're actually pretty comfortable. They definitely do feel wet, and obviously they're gonna come off if you eat or maybe even drink, anything like that. They're not a long-lasting liquid lipstick or anything like that by any means, but they feel pretty good. They're definitely one of my favorite like lip gloss formulas that I've tried. One thing that I don't like about all lip glosses though, and I've noticed it with these two, is that they get on my teeth, and I don't know if I'm the only one, but I swear like no matter how many times I do the finger trick, I still like see little remnants of the lipstick on there. So that's like the one downside, I think, to these in my opinion. But other than that, I love the colors. I think that these are really unique. There's a lot of pinks and then like some more neutral ones, but the neutral ones are still really unique. The only thing is that I wish they had a blue one, and I feel like I say that with every lip swatch video. A blue would be so cool. And then as far as the pigmentation, you guys probably saw when I was swatching it, but a little bit goes a long way. These are extremely pigmented. I do think though that they look best with 2 layers, because sometimes with a couple of these I noticed that the metallic finish would be a little more intense in certain areas of my lips, and then like one area would be a little bit thinner, so I'd have to go over it twice just to like even it out a little bit. But the pigmentation is awesome. I think the colors are great, and they're comfortable. They're really comfortable for a lip gloss. Coming from someone who doesn't really like glosses, they're really not bad. I like the doe foot applicator for applying these. I think it did a really good job. It's not too big or fat, but I would in the future, I think I will have to use some lip liners with these just to outline my lips, because I don't know if you guys notice the same thing, but with lip glosses, whenever I wear them, they kind of have this like darker buildup around the outer perimeter of my lips, but when I wear a lip liner first, it doesn't do that. So I do think that in the future, I will be trying these with lip liners. All right, let's move on to the foiled pigments. I'm just gonna swatch these on my arm, and I'm gonna do a finger swatch and a brush swatch of each pigment so you can see how they apply with the finger and with the brush. So I'm all done swatching all the pigments. That was a feat. So I definitely like the foiled pigments more than the foiled lip glosses, even though they're not even on like the same page or anything. I'm a lot more in love with the pigments. I just think that I'm gonna get a lot more use out of them. They're really so freaking rich and creamy and pigmented. It's actually insane. I really like the colors, and I just think that I'm gonna have a lot more fun with these than the lip glosses, but that's just like a personal preference type thing. Okay, so first of all, for the first 2 swatches that I did, the light one up here and then this like kind of darker champagne one, for the brush swatch, I didn't use any sort of like setting spray. I didn't wet my brush or anything before doing the swatch, and there was definitely a lot of fallout with those 2 brush swatches. After that, I was like, let me just wet my brush and see how it goes, and after that, they swatched a lot better with the brush, not as much fallout, so I would definitely suggest using something like MAC Fix Plus, or maybe even water if you're using these with a brush. I know that some of them have a little bit of chunkage going on, like a few flakes in the swatches, but honestly it's just kind of hard to like blend these out on my arm. I feel like when applying on the eyes they're probably going to blend out a lot easier, but I am blown away by these. If you guys have ever tried the actual pressed foiled eyeshadows by Makeup Geek, they're really similar. They feel almost exactly alike when you're blending them out, but these are almost like a more intense, more foiled version of the pressed. They blend out super, super easily with the fingers. There were a few that blended out a little bit easier than the others actually, I found, and they were the more like darker brown rusty colors. Intermission, Supernatural, and Gargoyle, which is that cool silver. I think they're these three. So they look the most pigmented out of the ones that I swatched, and they just swatched a lot more like creamy. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but they were definitely my favorite out of the bunch. Voodoo is another favorite. I am in love with this color. I love rich greens like this. It's super, super pigmented. The only thing is that with this one, and it didn't happen with the other ones, when I pour it out to swatch it, it pours into little like powdery beads. So it's not as smooth as the other ones, but when you spend a little bit extra time blending it out, it definitely looks amazing. I have quite a few pigments from different companies, and I think I have to say that these are the most pigmented ones that I have, and definitely the most like foiled metallic looking. So I am 10 out of 10 really, really, really excited about these and definitely would recommend. I was talking a little bit about the sifters earlier and like the packaging of this. It actually did end up getting a little bit messy. Definitely nowhere near how the sparklers were by any means, but I felt like the hole was a little bit too small to put my finger in. Like even turning it upside down and going like that, I didn't really get much on my finger. And then it was a little bit small for brushes too, unless you're using like a really small brush. So for the most part, I had to like tap out some into the lid, and that way it can get a little bit messy, but it's still not a big deal to me. So I would say if you don't mind the kind of messiness that most pigments come with, I would definitely try some of these out. And if you are going to use a brush with them, don't forget to use like a setting spray or water or anything to wet your brush. Alright guys, so that's it for the swatches and reviews on the new Makeup Geek foiled lip glosses and pigments. Let me know what your favorites were, and if you're planning on getting any, let me know which ones. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!